Yo, what's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's time for Flyers Talk A to D. Tonight we got a bit to talk about. We are discussing the Flyers. Despite what Danny Briere said in this offseason, could this team potentially make the playoffs? Have you liked what they've seen from the young guys in training camp? To ponder to yourself, can this team make the playoffs? We're going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss the guys that have been cut from the roster or off the training camp roster. We're going to see any surprise names, any names that you didn't expect so far, basically any surprises that you had. So we're going to hit that like, we're going to hit that subscribe. We're going to turn the notifications on. Facebook, Twitter, share, retweet. Let's go. It's time to talk some more preseason puck.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of Flyers Talk A2D right here on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sinsudi, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
I feel like your intro gets longer and longer, but it's not. It's only 20 seconds.
I think you know what? I feel like you've been watching me this whole time. I get it now. Yeah, I see. I got you, Coach. All right.
Got you.
And we have...
I meant the actual show intro, by the way, not your intro. So, Jesus, we can already see where this show is going tonight.
What? Where it always goes? Off the rails?
Yeah.
Anyway, we also have Mr. Blue Shirt, Mr. Broadway, Mr. Switzerland, Big Bad Brad Ryer. All right, gentlemen. Today the show is brought to you by, like always, Specialized Physical Therapy. The doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. If you've got any aches and pains that are bugging you, be sure to hit up the doc at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com, and then make an appointment. Head either to Burlington or Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's got great teams on both locations, and you will feel as good as new after a couple of sessions with the doc himself. So, with that, we go to our poll question for the evening, and it is, despite the front office, the Flyers will... It's all in capitals, so I feel like I had to shout it. The Flyers will be battling for a playoff spot come the spring. Agree or disagree? So, gentlemen, we've all heard the speculation. We all know the season previews are out there for the divisions, for the individual teams, for the players, who's going to most likely have a big blow-up, breakout season. So, gentlemen, I have to ask, are the Flyers going to be a playoff team, or are they going to be a bubble team that still misses? Do you agree or disagree that battle will be with the Flyers?
Who just beeped me? Was that you, Maddie? Did you just beep at me already? Oh, jeez.
I see.
5 minutes into the show.
I wish I had that. I wish I did that. I did not actually, believe it or not.
No,
you know what? You know what? I have a theory. I think it's Brodo. I think he's hiding somewhere, and he's
always torturing me.
Right, but that's where my suspicions lie. Yeah, anyway,
I'm going to agree to the poll. I think they will be battling for a playoff spot. I don't think it's going to be a top 3 spot in the division. I mean, the Metro Division is going to be super tough again this year, as it always is. Rangers, Canes, Devils are probably going to be your top 3 teams. There's no doubt in my mind about that. You're going to have the Penguins that are going to be in the battle. You're going to have the Islanders who are going to be in the battle. Obviously, you got the Flyers, too, who we're talking about. Columbus is going to be out of the picture, as they always are. But I think they could definitely battle for a wild card spot. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities, especially with what may or may not be possibly going on up in Boston with Jeremy Swayman, who's still unsigned. We don't know. So I mean, there's a possibility that might happen as well. And you upgrade at goaltender, you bring in a proven young stud of a goaltender. Things change. But I mean, as far as like I said, as far as the top division points go, like I think that's pretty much locked in with the three teams that I've already mentioned. I think the Flyers are going to battle in the bubble spot for a wild card. Do I think they fall short? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this team does. But what I'm seeing in preseason from not just the vets but the young guys too, Joel Farabee having a hell of a preseason. Mitchkov doing what we thought he was going to do, who has yet another point tonight on the TK goal. They're gonna. I think they're gonna battle for a playoff spot. I think despite what Briere said about maybe taking a step backwards, I think they're going to be in the same spot they were last year, if not taking a step forward. In turn, it's just going to probably change what they do at the trade deadline, or if not before. Like I said, Jeremy Swayman, his situation in Boston is getting really, really bad. So we'll see what happens with that. But ultimately, yes, I wholeheartedly believe this team will battle for a playoff spot.
Speaking of Boston, right now the third period between the Flyers and the Bruins. See, that is not me. I swear to you, that is not me.
It's possible that it's me. Oh,
it's Brodo. It's got to be Brodo. Anyway, so the third period is currently going between the Flyers and the Bruins right now in preseason. They are still tied at 1 goal apiece. The goal for the Bruins was scored by Bruzeau, and for the Flyers, the goal was scored by TK. So that is your current score right now. In goal is Urson. I don't think they've changed goalies, and I'm actually not sure who's in goal for the Bruins, to be honest with you.
I can get that for you.
Okay, then. I haven't really bothered to look at the name on the Bruins jersey because, quite frankly, I don't give a crap about the Bruins. So, with that...
Fair enough.
Let's see what the fam has got to say before we dive into that poll a little bit further. Lil Yava saying no playoffs in 25. Raska saying what's up? What's up, Raska?
What's up, Raska?
Don saying, what's up, fellas? What a great day we're having. And I think Don's just over the hill because, he's over the...
Get it, Maddie. I already know where you're going. Get it.
Yeah, his Detroit Tigers have made it to the big dance over in the AL side of the MLB bracket this
and
particular year.
And they got the win today. Let's go.
So Don's got to be just soaring
Google,
high.
Baby.
It's Boosie, by the way. Boosie.
I'll go with Boosie.
Boosie sounds like it's just Bussi.
Yeah, that's probably Boosie. It'd be funny if it is Bussy, but anyway.
It could be. I don't know. I got the volume down.
Right. Anyway, let's see here. Benny's saying, "What's up, boys?" What's up, Benny?
Benny, what's good?
And then we've also got Lily. I was saying Ottawa, Detroit, New Jersey, Buffalo got better.
Jersey, yes. Detroit, maybe.
Ottawa's a question mark.
Ottawa's definitely a question mark. And Buffalo's a question mark.
Don saying yes, sir. And
Get it, D. I'm pulling for him in this round.
And he also says we all hate Houston, especially Brad.
Oh yeah, I can't hate them enough.
Let's go, Tigers.
All right.
Until Saturday.
It's not that shocking that they won Game 1. Skubal is the best pitcher of the American League, and the Tigers do have a really good bullpen.
So with that, Brad, your answer to the poll question, do you think the Flyers will be battling it out for at least a wild card spot?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, then. So you agree to the poll?
Oh, they're going to be right there. I think they're going to probably finish 9th again.
Okay.
out of the 8 teams that make the playoffs. The only reason that I think they're going to have a problem is just as you said, as Brian said, the first 3 teams in our division are just, they're going. The Devils, the Rangers, the Canes, they're all going to be there. And the Devils are going to be the uninvited guest, as we all know. And at this point, whether Swayman signs or not, Boston's still going to be in the playoffs. I think the whole thing is, can the Flyers jump the Islanders or the Capitals? I say they could, but then there's the other division. Are they going to get more points than Detroit? Are they going to get more points than Buffalo or Ottawa? Are any of those teams going to finally step up and show us what they've got, or are the Flyers going to be the ones to step up?
I mean, I would argue and say that out of those teams in the Atlantic right now that we've been seeing the possible surge on, Detroit's the one to worry the most about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a year where it's like they got to shit or get off the pot. They have to make the playoffs, in my opinion. They really need to.
Because they just have too much talent on their team to continuously miss now.
And I get that they've been missing because they've had issues with goaltending. I do get that. And yes, the injuries have piled up on them a little bit. I know Dylan Larkin had to battle a few. But, I mean...
every team gets injured. Come on. Now.
Right. But it's like, at some point, boys, you got to break through. You got to break through. And this has got to be that year. They really got to, or otherwise they got to kind of evaluate a little bit and say, like, whoa, what is going on? Why are we keep on missing? They would really have to start get into the weeds a little bit. But
Jeff Blashill.
yeah. Meanwhile, Mike's saying, rest in peace, Pete Rose. Yes, the great Pete Rose, the Hit King himself, did pass away. He was 83 years old. Of course, former Philadelphia Philly. He did win the World Series with the 1980 team, and he was a big contributor to that 1980 team. So, tough loss. Also, Dikembe Mutombo passed away as well. So a former 76er as well passed away. He was on the 2001 Eastern Conference Championship team that was led by Allen Iverson.
One of my favorite non-Knicks. When he used to do this, when he blocked shots, I just love that because I like when guys are arrogant. See, when guys are arrogant, I don't necessarily like it, but when they back it up, I love that.
Yeah,
it's like, don't you come down here and try to shoot a layup.
No, not in my house.
Nope, not tonight.
But yeah, so somber week for the world of sports in Philadelphia, losing two great former athletes in basketball and baseball.
It was in the same day too. Like that was the craziest part.
I know, it's very crazy.
Dikembe in the morning, Pete Rose later, like that. I was on my way home from work when they broke that. I was in the car. I was the whole time like wide-eyed, like jaw dropped. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't. No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, as upsetting as it was with Rose, I was more upset about Mutombo. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, I'm older than him. He kind of get a reality check there.
Mutombo, I think
58.
Had cancer too. I think he was battling cancer, brain cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Heart goes out to his family,
Yeah.
and obviously anyone that knew him, friends, all that stuff.
I mean, I had heard that he built a health center in Africa. I mean,
yeah, he did a lot.
But he's a good guy, man. He gave away a lot of his money to try to help people. I mean, just he was quite the guy. He really was.
Yeah. Well, may he rest in peace, and may P. Rose rest in peace.
Yeah.
Still 1-1, 12:51 left to go, and a penalty just got called. It was hooking, and it is on the Flyers. Jet Lachenko just got called.
Send him down. No, I'm just kidding.
Now you're sounding Now you're sounding like a Ranger fan.
I'm just kidding. Jesse Bell in the chat. What's up, Jesse?
What's going on, Jesse?
I mean, Shesterkin gave up a goal in the first period tonight, and I could hear somebody yell, "Send him down."
Sure. Send Igor down because you guys have a perfect replacement.
Yeah, don't sign him. Yeah.
He's gonna not get claimed on waivers.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Oh man, that would be the dumbest thing in the history of hockey if the Rangers did that. Literally the dumbest thing I think an organization
I
has ever done.
somehow don't think that's going to happen.
Right, but it's still that would have
Yeah,
been the
could
case
you
if that
imagine?
had
Yeah,
been
this isn't Barclays Goodrow.
right. Benny's Nation saying, I think we will battle, but come up short. Not sure on net and concerns with the final pair on defense. Very fair. Fair assessment, I would say, there from Benny's Nation. Benny
I
doing
think
that.
I think the final like I'm definitely with you on the goaltender part. I'm the final pairing is probably going to wind up being a rotation. In all honesty, it's probably going to wind up being Zamula, Ristolainen, and probably if Emil Andre makes it, he'll probably be in the rotation. And there was one guy that I missed last week when we were doing a roster breakdown, and now I'm blanking on him again. Oh, Adam Ginning.
So Boston just scored 2-1. David Pastrnak and Pavel Zacha assisting Johnson. Is it Eric Johnson?
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson.
Eric Johnson's a flyer. Come on, Matty.
Listen.
Hey, it's preseason for all of us.
There is so many damn Johnsons anymore in the freaking world, and that could be taken.
Common name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, that could be taken in multiple ways, by the way.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord, help me.
Well, let's see. But unfortunately, it is 2-1 Boston with 11:46 left to go. Still time, though, to tie it up, as long as the Flyers don't give up another one. So
Stay out of the penalty box. That would help.
That would help because Jet Lachenko going to the box and then that power play, taking advantage of that didn't help nothing. Anyway, let's keep going on.
Oh, Don, Jesus.
Oh, I got to see. Oh, wow. I didn't know he listened to this show. I'm kind of, I feel like I need to take a shower now. But anyway. So, let's see here.
Don's feeling his oats tonight. You know that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
Listen, who could blame him after all the misery that city sports fans have suffered the last few years? Things are finally starting to look up.
Right. I mean, it's crazy to think about that. I mean, Detroit in particular,
Can you imagine the Tigers and the Lions making the playoffs in the same season?
I mean, listen,
the Lions, yes, but I mean the Tigers too.
Well, let's be honest here, man. I mean, hey, the Cubs won a World Series, so I mean, anything's possible. The Eagles won a Super Bowl. I mean, anything is possible right now. I'm just saying.
No, you're not wrong.
I mean, who knows? Maybe now all the miseries in Chicago between the Bears, the White Sox. Oh my God! I saw what happened with the White Sox this season. I'm like, my God, you talk about just misery. That is pure concentrated misery, folks.
121 losses. That's a lot of losing. And listen, my friends, the Flyers are going to be right there as far as making the playoffs. Okay, here's the key. Okay, and this is my key. You guys score 20% on your power plays. If you have a 20% or better power play this year, you will make the playoffs. That's it. That is, in my opinion, you guys were right there last year. How many games did you lose by one goal last year because you couldn't stick the puck in the net on the power play? Because your freaking penalty killing was scoring more goals than your power play.
Yeah,
that can't happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that can't happen. You put the puck in the net. Now you have a sniper like Mitchkov. I think your power play is going to be a lot better this year. Who did
assist on the Travis Konechny goal? So there is something to think about with that. So that's
There
good
you go.
news.
Well, yeah, but listen, you have him. Who's the Owen Tippett, who has a really good shot. There's no reason why their power play can't improve. Okay, and as I said, if they can get it up to 20%, I believe that will get them into the playoffs. If it's 10% again, they're going to lose a lot of games by 1 goal again. But that's got to be the key this year. Get some goals in the power play. Make your life easier 5-on-5. You obviously can score score shorthanded, so that's covered. And obviously, you're a good defensive hockey team. We know that. Just get some pucks in the net when you have a man advantage. Just make your life a lot easier.
I agree with that, Benny.
I do. I mean, that is a pretty solid evaluation there. Benny's Nation saying power play goes as far as Mitchkov and Drysdale. So, for my opinion on the poll, I'm going to say that I'll say agree, but my agree is going to be with an asterisk next to it because I still don't know what we're going to get from the Flyers this year. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. We really don't know how the Flyers are going to do this year. They might do real well, or they might look like a rebuilding team. Because it's just, with a team like this that's got a lot of youth in it, sure, some youth has really had an opportunity to test its mettle in the NHL and has thrived at times. There's still a lot of other youth that hasn't. And then the goaltending situation, obviously Urson we know is going to be the starter in tandem with most likely Fedotov. Although, actually, I think I'm just going to call him Fedotov. Although JJ is calling him Fedotov, I don't know at this point. Anyway, we have Kolosov made his debut and did very well. And that's definitely a big headline to talk about. As Mike says here, the Kolosov drama is healing itself, apparently, which it is.
We'll see.
It absolutely, I mean, so far so good, though. He had a great first game, and hopefully this continues to build for him. And hopefully we get a chance to see him during the regular season if he's on fire and he's doing real well. And maybe he might be the perfect person to throw in there. Who knows? I mean, obviously Fedotov's going to get the first look, but you give an opportunity to Kolosov all the same.
Well, here's my thing on Kolosov. And somebody, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they not just come up with the same deal that they were going to do with Mitchkov? If he doesn't make the Flyers roster, he goes back to the KHL. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong with that, because I thought that's what I read. He does not want to play for the AHL. He either wants to play for the Flyers or the KHL. Somebody out there, Jesse, I know if you're still in the chat, I know you're a little more deeper than we are in it. So by all means, let me know, because I'm pretty sure that's what I read, that he's got the same deal as Mitchkov. If he doesn't make the Flyers, he's going back to Russia.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so he wants to go back to Russia instead of the AHL. As long as he's still willing to come to the Flyers camps and the situation is smoothed over with that and things are okay and he's willing to play in Philadelphia, it's like, all right, he just wants to go back to the KHL. He doesn't want to be in the AHL. It's like, all right, whatever.
That's not really a horrible thing. I mean, the fact that he showed up tells you that he wants to be here. So I wouldn't be too worried about it now.
I said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
glad y'all listen to me somewhat.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I'll take the maybe.
So let's see here. Mike also goes on to say Mitchkov scores 35 goals, gets the Calder a true rookie season. Okay. I mean, Mitchkov's looked really good, but again, it is preseason. So again, temper the expectations just a little bit. Still doesn't mean that I can't be excited for him. We all should be excited for him. Benny's saying the young guys getting some experience last year and a full NHL schedule helps this year. Part of it last year was they ran out of gas. I agree. They absolutely ran out of gas, and they were just not able to string together enough wins. And even so, if they weren't running out of gas during the regular season, if they had gotten into the playoffs, I don't know how well they would have done in the first round. Considering because if they ran out of gas during the regular season, it was either they run out there or they run out in the playoffs, and it's like
I want to
They
say
couldn't
this
have
to make
done.
you feel
They
better.
couldn't have done worse than Washington.
I want to say this to make you feel better, Maddie.
yeah.
This is essentially the same team from last year, right?
Pretty
Agreed?
much for the
Agreed?
most part. Yeah,
Except
yeah.
their younger
Yeah.
players in the minors have a little more experience and might be more prepared to come up if they need an extra jolt.
Well,
Few of
here's where I was going to go with that. You added to it, right? You're getting a healthy Drysdale. You're finally getting a healthy Coots. You're getting Michkov. You're getting Jetlachenko, who might have a shot to legitimately make this roster because he's gotten past 3 rounds of cuts so far.
So far, Bonk
So
has
like
two.
but yeah, Bonk too. This is showing a lot of where the Flyers are. I get your point. Young guys, it's still a rebuilding team. I get it. I'm all for that. And I'm with you 1,000% on the goaltending. Goaltending has a lot to prove. Not too worried about Urson. Fedotov, he has to prove a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's 27 years old. He's getting into his prime now.
Right.
Show us that he can be Vasilevsky 2.0. Okay, maybe that's a stretch, but show us that you can be a guy who can handle. That's why I took it back. Relax.
That's like saying, "Hey, you're the next Patrick."
No.
No.
Like show us that you can be a guy who can handle 35 to 40 games a year and be solid and maybe, and this is my expectations, have a goals against somewhere around 3 to 3.3 and a save percentage around 9-10. I will take that all day from a backup, a guy who's going to be a platoon. Urson definitely ran out of gas last year because he's not the guy who's going to handle 50, 60 games. He never was. Even when he's playing over in Europe, they're playing 50 games a year. So you're looking at 25 to 30 from him probably, depending on the situation that they have goaltending-wise. Goaltending's got to prove it. And
what
like
do you
Brad
think
said,
the ideal number of
power
games
play.
Urson has to play this year, Brian?
He's got to play 42.
You don't
It's
want
going to be a good amount.
Split it.
Can you get like
You split it.
45 out of him?
You probably get 45, but if Fedotov's playing well, you split it.
I mean,
41 and 41.
It also depends on, the ebb and flow of the season. Whoever,
That too.
yeah, I mean, and it could possibly be where, I don't think that would be the case, but say Urson's having a bit of a rough patch. Maybe you try something bold and you switch him out with somebody else. Maybe put a Kolosov up there to see, hey, the kid's playing real well. Let's throw him in there. Well, let's see what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those kind of situations because it's very fluid at the goaltending position right now.
Yeah, and I'm not against that. Like going with the ebbs and flows of the season for obvious reasons. It is, you have to at some point. And like I'm saying, like odds are you're probably going to get 45 to 50 games out of Sam Urson. That's realistic.
Realistic, yeah.
But it's it's going to depend on how good is he playing because he looked really good the other night.
He did. He's looked good tonight.
And it depends on how Fedotov is. Apparently, he's having a pretty solid preseason. And he gave up a bad goal the other night, but I thought he played really well for the most part. I thought he got down well. I thought he went side to side. His pads are fitting him a little bit better. So he looked a little bit. He's still a little shaky in some areas, but I mean, again, this is a guy who's playing just played 5 games of North American hockey. You're gonna have your ebbs and flows with him. You're gonna have your growing pains with him, but ultimately, you gotta figure it out. And you got to figure it out soon. Unfortunately,
you do. Flyers had a beautiful opportunity. Unfortunately, could not bury it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it soon. Otherwise, you got to figure out what you're doing with them. He's on a 2-year contract. You're paying him more money than he deserves, in my opinion, for an unproven goaltender.
It's true. So let's see here. What's next? Swoopy saying, do you guys think Cutter wanted to leave because we keep talking about rebuild nonstop? Then it seems like they all still competing to make the playoffs. He didn't want a mixture of things. He wanted one or the other. Oh, I see what you mean. So basically, the whole back and forth, half-assing, half measure. We're not actually rebuilding. We say we're rebuilding, but in reality, we're just doing the exact same thing we've always done and try to hotshot our way back in. I see where you're going with that. I don't know, because I feel like Danny and Keith really brought in that sort of feel of, you know what, no, this is a legitimate, we've got a vision, we got a plan, and we really are going full on into a rebuild, and we really are going to invest in the youth. And I think the last couple of seasons really proved that. So I don't know too much about that. I feel like, could it be something that was in the back of his head? Maybe. But I think it was more of, either he really was dead set on not coming to Philadelphia, or because he couldn't, as Bry had said before, because he couldn't get the spot he wanted.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Honestly,
That's what I think it was. I think
Or
he's just a big baby because he couldn't be up right away.
Or even on top of that as well, maybe he was hearing from other people, getting, thoughts in his head, getting his ego inflated, possibly. That can happen too for a young man, and maybe that's what led to him wanting to be on the starting roster and being on the top line immediately at the end of the day. I feel like that's more in the ballpark of what we're talking about with Cutter, more so.
Honestly, like with Cutter, like I realize, like as a Ducks fan, like I have him on my team now and I'm excited for him, and he's looking good so far. But at the end of the day, you got to hit that subscribe, turn on those notifications. Never miss anything A2D has to offer. We got shows for everybody, from football, basketball seasons coming up, baseball playoffs. We're going to talk about that. Wrestling, if you guys are into the WWE, I know I am. I hate to admit it, but I am.
Well, I hate to admit it.
You know what? I don't hate to admit it, because you know what? I tell everybody.
Right.
Hit that subscribe, turn on the notifications. Whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, especially hit that sub on YouTube. Join the great group of guys we got over there. Also, Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, we're there as well. If you can't catch us live, do it.
So let's see here. What else?
You actually thought I was going to talk about Cutter for a second, didn't you?
I did buy it for about a second.
I got you.
Yeah, you got me totally.
You got me on the dangle. You scored on that one, buddy.
Hey,
Next time I won't try to be slick and try to go for that poke check, which I love it when a goalie does and he fails. It looks like such an idiot.
bitch.
So the Bruins look like they're going to take this one. They just scored the empty netter. It is 3-1 with about a minute 25 left to go in the third period. Charlie Coyle with the empty netter. So the good news is it is still only preseason. So that's the good news on there. And the Bruins will most likely be a frustrating team anyway to go up against this year, because for some reason they're like a damn cockroach. No matter how many times you step on them, the bastards just keep coming back. Can someone please figure out a way to just take out Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak, please? Like, just keep them out. That'd be nice.
It's been tried. Pastrnak is a big guy. It's kind of hard.
He is. He's got a great sense of humor, though. I mean, it's
he is a big guy. I never realized how big he is.
He's the definition of a power forward, and he has that slick hands on top of it. So like
incredible stick handler.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see here. What else we got? Mike's saying Jet, I think, plays 5 games in the NHL, goes back to juniors, and then next year jumps to Lehigh Valley. I think that's possible, but at the same time,
skip it. He's gonna
he,
skip it.
he might
'Cause they're
skip
gonna
over
have-
the Phantoms and go
They're gonna have
straight
the
to
open roster spot for him, so they're gonna put him at center in the Flyers next year.
That is the one thing too, that there is salary coming off the books and contracts ending this upcoming off season.
Way too much energy right now. This is ridiculous.
What did you just take, like 5 or 6 shots of coffee? Like what maybe a few espresso shots from Wawa? What's going on, man?
You don't know. You know. I don't drink coffee. This shit's gross.
Okay, did you get a few monsters? What is it that you're doing? What you're running on right now?
I'm running on hopes and dreams right now, Maddie. Hopes and dreams. It's playoff time,
That can
and
take
the
you
NHL
a
is starting
long
on
way.
Friday.
That can take you a long ways. Oh, now it's 4-1 Boston.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, so I saw Jesse drop in something about the games on Friday. I can't wait. Devils and Buffalo in the somewhere in Europe. I forget where they're going. Czech,
Prague.
I think.
Prague.
Prague. They're in Prague. Yeah. Friday at 1 on NHL Network, and then the next game I think is at Saturday at 10 a.m. on the NHL Network.
Right.
Excited for that. Always got to be excited for that.
I think next Wednesday, the season gets started.
Next Wednesday, yes. Well, technically, season starts Friday, but for everybody else, it starts on Wednesday.
Right. Right. I mean, in our continent.
In our time zone. Yep, absolutely.
In our continent, it starts Wednesday.
Also, give Jesse a follow over at Flyers Alley. They do a great job over there. Been checking in on those guys. So give them a follow. They do a great job over there. Jesse's a good dude.
All right, then. So let's see here. Mike also chiming in saying that it's Utah's debut season. That it is. And that'll be very interesting to see how it goes. I wonder
the
if
hockey team?
Yes, the Utah hockey team has officially will start the season off. The jerseys look nice, though, I will say. I do like the jersey design that they have going. I don't know what their name's going to be, but it's going to be very interesting. It's so weird. It's like the Women's Hockey League that started up last year. There were no names. It was no mascots. It was just the name of the city, and everybody's jersey was basically the same design. But anyway, Benny's Nation saying biggest issue is, can we find a defenseman that can bring us what Walker brought us prior to him being dealt?
Yes, that is a concern. But you have to kind of hope that some of these young guys step up and improve their game.
Well, I mean, I feel like some of them did. Even after Walker left, I feel like some of them did step up and played pretty well. I mean, yeah, they ran out of gas, but I feel like they still showed that it's like, okay, yeah, they are stepping up to the plate. They were still rattling off wins after the Walker trade. They weren't buried after that. So I would argue and say that, yeah, there are those who did step up to the plate. I just think that, again, it was a matter of, it was a long season. They were tired. They just couldn't keep it going at the end of the day. And then injuries did whittle them down over time.
I don't necessarily think the Flyers need a guy like Walker. I think they need a guy that they can kind of have on this roster that can make an impact that will be able to stay. I mean, it's great if they do find another Sean Walker to the point where they can move him and get some draft capital for him. But at the end of the day, like at where my mindset's at for this team right now, based off of last year and what I'm seeing in preseason so far, find somebody to take a spot. Stop, cut the rotation off. Like, just get to the point where these are going to be our sixth defensive pairing or six defensive players, and that's it, unless there's an injury.
Benny's, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think we were a playoff team prior to that trade. I mean, we were fighting for a playoff spot, but we were nowhere near guaranteed it. I mean, don't get me wrong. We hovered.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is you guys were in a playoff spot at the time.
I do kind of agree with Benny, actually. I think the way that they were playing, they were definitely a playoff team.
I mean, yeah, but they probably would have still had the gas run out on them anyway. And having one player that was not here by the time of deadline, I don't think that changes anything. I think we still would have missed because we still would have ran into the problems. We still would have had to go grab Fedotov and have him try to come in at a really bad time. We still would have had players tired and exhausted and not able to pick up the slack. I don't think having Walker changes that. We had Nick Sealer, who's been here for a while. That didn't change anything. Jamie Drysdale got hurt. So that's a huge loss right there. I don't think that changes us. I think we still miss.
Somebody had to disagree. I was not expecting it to be you, Maddie. I'm not going to lie.
It's just because it's like it's one player. One player doesn't make the defensive core.
No, I agree.
And I mean,
I agree with you.
Don't get me wrong. I know that Kimo Timonen, was like a big part of the defensive identity for a long time. And when he was gone, the team really suffered defensively. But a lot of that was also because we didn't have the best players defensively. We had a lot of aging guys back there for a while. And it's like, yeah, these guys were great 5-6 years ago. It's not 5-6 years ago. What the hell are we doing? And there you go. You get the results you get. Your team is getting dunked on every now and again. But anyway, so let's see here. Swoopy's saying Flyers keep talking rebuild, but it hasn't been. And yes, a whole management now, new management now, but we still see this team trying to make the playoffs. Not saying not to try, but I really think that this played and had a huge factor with why Cutter wanted out, but he didn't want to deal with one thing being said, then it not be played out. It's been way too much for too long with this organization, too much mixture in between and not a true plan to be played out and to be taken true. Well, I will say this, Swoopy, if the Flyers do not have a solid year and they miss the playoffs by a decent amount, you will know for a fact that they are full on that rebuild. And to be fair, I believe that they are because we haven't really seen them make any big splashes. They didn't go out and sign any.
They have no money.
But they didn't try and make a trade either. They didn't really try to fish out a big trade either.
And I'm okay with that. Because again, we talk with the pipeline with where that is. You got a bunch of young guys who are a big trade right now. All that does is clog up the holes. You got a bunch of guys that are getting ready to come off the books next year after this season, and that's going to open up a lot as far as availability on the big roster. So you go out and make a big trade like that or make a big free agent signing right now, it makes no sense for what the Flyers are trying to do. Yes, and in a lot of ways this is a rebuild. They have to see what they have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for them to go out and make a free agent signing right now, or at least a big one that's going to make an impact on the organization, it just doesn't make sense right now.
Greg, by the way, agrees to the poll. What's up, Greg?
Hey, usually disagrees.
So there you go.
Hey, positive Greg tonight. Let's go.
By the way, Benny's was saying that he used to like me, and now I have the balls to disagree with them. He did misspell my name, by the way.
Don't worry, he fixed it.
I know he fixed it down here.
I'm going to defend Benny in this case. Just this one. Maybe
just
not
this
for the
one
next
time.
One. We don't know.
Just this one time.
We'll see what the next one is.
Stab your teammate in the back. Stab your landmate in the back. Okay, I got you. Anyway.
I'll defend you most of the time. I got to take him once.
All right.
We'll see what the situation is next time.
All right.
Maybe I'll take your back again. Or maybe I'll just take his out of spite.
Leave my back alone. Anyway. All right, so let's see here.
Don.
Oh, Greg's comment.
Oh man! Hi, screw you, buddy.
Michael,
friend. I'm not your friend, buddy.
What's up, Pete?
OGP in the house.
All right,
I
so
have
let's
way
see
too much
here.
energy. We need to do something about this.
So
paper.
Flyers playoff chances. We definitely were talking about that with this poll question. So, gents, if you had to give it a, if you had to give it a chance by say a percentage, what kind of percentage are you giving the Flyers right here?
40.
40%.
I think it's higher. I personally think it's higher than that.
What, to make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say 40%.
I'm gonna go 60. I'm gonna go 60. I'm not counting Buffalo in. They might start off hot, but I don't think they're gonna last forever. Ottawa, Olmark's got to prove that he can be a number one. The Devils got better. I think they finish in a division spot. Islanders, I think, will fall off at some point. Washington, I think, is too old. Penguins, I think, will battle. I think it's about 60%. I don't. There's really only team that could potentially worry me is Detroit. That's it.
I would argue for me, kind of keeping consistent, I'll go 50%, 50-50 chance, flip the coin. We'll see what it lands on. We will see where the Flyers are. They either make it or they don't. They got an equal amount of chance of getting in and an equal amount of chance of not, in my opinion. Mike is saying 49%. He did bump it up from 2 though earlier, so that was nice of him.
And a boy, Mike.
So then for Benny, he's going to go. I'm going to showcase showdown and go about 40.01% on that guy. And then let's see here. Mike saying, I think Montreal is going to be the surprise for the playoff appearance, and they will knock us out. I mean, Montreal is a franchise that has that hunger and that drive, and they do have Caden Primo, who is a phenomenal goaltender, and they've got some studs over there.
Well, Laine is only going to be out for 2 months, so they'll be back.
Yeah.
And when he comes back, he'll add some scoring punch to that team.
What's up, Priz? What concert did you go to, brother? I forget which one you were heading to.
He sent me the message. Hang on. Pennywise and Dropkick Murphys.
Ooh, that's a badass show right there. I hope it was a good time for you, bud.
Broham, baby. Let's go. Actually, I don't know if that's going to be the goal song for the Ducks anymore. It used to be.
Really? They're changing that out now?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Apparently they're playing a new goal song. I don't know what it is.
So
I got to figure out how the hell I'm watching them this year because Bally's is gone. They went belly up.
Have you looked into ESPN Plus?
I have ESPN Plus, but they're not going to show every game.
Oh, that's kind of shitty.
What about Center Ice?
That's not. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can afford that.
That is true. It can be pricey when you do that. ESPN Plus.
Last year it was only $99.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll look into it.
So that would be what, $15 a month for 6 months?
Something like that. You're asking the wrong person to do math.
Okay.
Mike's saying he's seeing Iron Maiden next month. I've seen them. They are awesome live. Says he's going home now. He's heading to California in the morning. Okay, man. Okay.
Wow.
That's going to be
You'll see why.
Okay. That explains it. Totally understandable why you're going to Cali. Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
That's his favorite band, man. That's Priz's favorite band. He's not missing their final shows. Which, by the way, just made me remember Warped Tour's coming back next year.
They're reviving it. Nice.
Yeah. Let's go. I can't wait. That was one of my favorite festivals. I'm going to be too old for it. I'm going to be tired by noon, but I don't care. I'll be there.
Go. We got Pove here in the house. What's going on, brother?
We miss you, brother.
Yeah, we do. I think.
Congratulations on your Mets today.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're in the playoffs too. I forgot about that.
They won 8. They won 8-4 today.
I don't know about all that.
8-4.
Dirty.
Jesus.
I know.
Makes me feel dirty. I can't say that.
I understand.
Okay.
How to congratulate him anyway,
Right. Just a decent thing to do.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's my brother. I love him to death. I will never congratulate the Mets. Nope.
So I'll congratulate him, but not
Nope.
the Mets.
Nope.
They'll always
Love
be
you, Robbie, but nope.
they're always going to be the
Mm-mm.
flushing. They're always going to be the flushing toilets to me.
Nope. I'm good. Either nope. Mm-mm.
well said.
Blasphemous.
Let's see. Mike saying Mets and Braves both in the wild card. Crazy. Yeah, the NL East made out pretty well this year. 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was very surprised that the Mets and the Braves both found a way to crawl back into the playoff race. That was pretty impressive.
All right. So let's see here. Now we have our next thing. Flyers roster updates. Obviously, the Flyers have been making cuts consistently through camp and through the preseason. So there's been a new round of cuts. Surprisingly, though, there have been several key players that have survived the cuts. Obviously, we knew Michkov was most likely going to survive these cuts, especially with the way he's been playing. But Luchenko's been firing through. Oliver Bonk has been doing very well, surviving the cuts so far. I mean, all I got to say is that maybe, just maybe, we might be seeing us a little bit of Bonky, a little bit of Luchenko, and we're definitely going to be seeing us some Michkov. That's for sure.
You're getting a whole heaping helping of Michkov. That's disgusting, by the way. Can we edit that out? Somebody tell our producer to edit that out.
That's tough because you are it. So, but I mean, hey, maybe Brodo can seize that moment there and, help edit that for you. I'm sure he won't use that for any nefarious purpose whatsoever.
Are we talking about the same Ryan Brodo?
I don't know.
Oh boy, a Michkov sandwich.
Michkov sandwich. There we go.
That'll be worse than what I said. Ugh.
That'll be a new menu item at the well. You watch. It'll be.
Again, I feel dirty.
Now you need to take a shower.
That's twice now he feels dirty.
I do.
We mentioned the Mets, and now we mentioned that he's really feeling dirty.
I'm good.
Now, Mike says, will you take the Devils over the Mets?
No,
absolutely not.
Can't stand that team.
I definitely wouldn't take the Devils over the Mets. I mean, good Lord. That franchise ruined hockey. Fuck them.
There's a song that I could sing that I can't sing that'll get us in trouble for copyright infringement, but some of the words involved hell no. Pun intended. Pun intended, because we are talking about the Devils.
We are.
Yes.
We are. All right, so let's see here. So, Bri, you have the recent roster cuts, I believe, right?
Oh, crap. What did I do with it?
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's right here. Never mind. I was very unprepared. I'm sorry. You caught me off guard. So I have the one that they posted from 4 days ago. Where did that button go? I don't know what's happening right now.
Almost did a spit take.
No. Well, never mind. I'm not going to go there.
No.
I'm not going to
There we go.
Never mind. There it is. So these are the latest guys that I've seen, but some of this doesn't actually make sense to me because if you look at the bottom two, saying the following 2 players on the AHL contracts have been returned to Lehigh Valley. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brendan Fury and Jacob Gocher both played last night. Am I wrong? Did I miss that? Rizzo is expected. Elliott, JR, Brett Garner, Beltapia.
Yeah, but they could still play. They could still play in the. They could still play. I mean, the Devils have their Utica team playing last night, and they played tonight. And I'm sure most of those guys have already been cut.
Well, that's a special circumstance. I
know, but still, if they could do it, I'm sure other teams, because basically they're just everybody's looking at their depth right now anyway.
Right. I mean, for the first three, I mean, Ronnie Attard, we might see him in on the Flyers this year. He's had his cups of coffee with the team. He's actually had more than a cup of coffee on an occasion. Sometimes he's had several cups with the Flyers. Louis Belpedio, I believe he has a little bit of. I think he actually has played a little bit on the Flyers.
He has. That was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. Rhett Gardner, no, I don't think he did. I don't think he played for the Flyers at all last year.
See Benny's comment in here. He's like, "This is why I tune in. It's the show's attention to detail." I'm a terrible producer. What can I say, Benny? I can't multitask, especially when my brain is the way it is tonight, like just all over the place.
It's just bleh. Anyway.
I'm ready for Thursday, my day off.
Hey, I'm off too on Thursday. Weird too, because I work at a school. Anyway, well, it's Rosh Hashanah. That's why. But let's see.
Congrats.
Happy early Rosh Hashanah to all those out there who celebrate.
Happy New Year.
Yes. The following three players for the other side of it. Avon, no, he didn't play for the Flyers. Dinwiddie, no. Did Rizzo play for the Flyers at all? No, he didn't either.
He played college last year.
He played college. Okay. I know there was a lot of hype around Rizzo, so that's why I was focusing in on him. And Fury and Gouge, no, neither one of them played last year for the Flyers. I don't think they will, honestly, to be completely honest with you. That's why I don't think Dinwiddie will either.
I mean, unless there's like significant injuries and there's the depth is hurt, and I don't necessarily know if I see these guys playing either. I know that there's going to be guys that are going to be ahead of them on the, I guess you can call them the taxi list now.
I guess so.
I think you might see Attard, but he's probably the only one that.
Attard and Belpedio out of the two of them up there. And then Rizzo, I think, if Rizzo does well, he could possibly, because like I said, there was a little bit of hype behind Rizzo. So maybe he might have an opportunity. It's a big maybe, though.
He might get an audition at some point during the season.
Right. If there's like an injury, then
or they might, if he's playing real well, they might reward him with a couple of games, before the All-Star break.
Maybe something of that nature.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. What else we got? Don saying, as y'all know, I was watching the Tigers play and I almost had a heart attack. What sports playoffs is the most nerve-wracking to watch? Team baseball or hockey? Hockey. Absolutely is hockey every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
And I'm a baseball guy, but it's Stanley Cup playoffs.
No, it's hockey, because every time the puck is in if your team has the puck in their defensive end, if the puck is in their defensive end, you're always holding your breath.
I was damn near ready to chuck kitchen chairs through the window when the Islanders were constantly tying the Flyers or leading the Flyers. I was getting more than pissed off. And then when the Flyers would have a lead and the Islanders would come in, I don't know how I survived that series. That series was a pain to watch. I mean, they still lost, but God, that was painful.
Well, the type of guy who asks these questions are guys who haven't seen playoff anything in forever.
That's true, Don. I'm sorry, man. I know it's been a minute since the Red Wings have been in the big dance.
I say that with love, Don.
and the Tigers.
Well, now that's been defeated now, because now the Tigers have been there. They
Boy,
can say
I gotta tell you, so happy to see that.
Oh,
it's
boy.
Nice to see that Scooble beats everybody, not just the Yankees.
I cannot wait to see the Astros get swept. It's going to make me so happy.
Oh, tomorrow could be the day.
I can't wait. I hope. AJ Hinch sweeping his old team out after firing him for cheating. I don't think he had anything to do with it, but I definitely think the players definitely did. But
oh yeah,
it'd be funny to see. I would be
bye. Benny's Nation saying no worries. It's easy for me to talk shit on this side.
I talk shit on my side too. It's not going to stop me.
Yeah, well, that ninth inning today, Don was a little bit was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
fully
Saying the spot
pretended he was
right.
Clay Holmes in the ninth inning. But, at least the Tigers had the good sense to get him out of there.
Jimmy Evans saying Slay was washed last year. He got bailed out by Bradbury.
Trade his ass. I'm over him. Get him out of Philadelphia.
What's going on, Jimmy?
Not just appreciate your comment, Jimmy. If you haven't hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got something for everybody, brother. No, his comments on the Mika Parsons show, just absolute trash. Anytime anybody feels like they can criticize him, he has to throw his career stats out there. This dude is not a leader. He's not a captain. He's a me guy, plays for himself, and that's it. Take the C off of him, trade his ass, get whatever you can get back for him. I'm over Darius. I'm not even going to call him by his last name. I'm over Darius.
All right. And Benny's Nation is saying, got a feel for Burns. No run support today in Baltimore. Yeah. I actually thought this comment tricked me from Benny's because I thought he was talking about Brent Burns for a second.
My heart bleeds for you.
I thought he was talking about Brent Burns on the Hurricanes.
Matty going right back to hockey. You gotta love it. This dude he's just a hockey guy right here.
That's my one sport, I mean, yeah, I love wrestling, but as Vince McMahon has said so many times, it is sports entertainment. Yeah. So
I don't get fiery much about the Eagles, but that annoys me. Like when you sit there and you're just a me guy. Oh, even last year when they were like everybody was saying, "Oh, I did my job. I did my job." Who cares if you did your job? You still lost.
Exactly.
It's a team sport. It can't just be you. I'm tired of some of these guys in the NFL. Man, they're divas. Like, I can't stand it. Like, you want to know why the Eagles are soft and they're not playing great right now? Because they have guys like Darius. I'm over these guys. Like, get Darius out of here. Get guys in here that want to win, that want to play, that don't want to get a paycheck. He's more worried about his stupid ass podcast than he is making a tackle.
So let me ask you a question, Bri. And Brad, you can comment on this. I mean, I know it's not a hockey question, but since I'm not a football guy by any stretch of the imagination, if the Eagles
way to end the show, by the way, sorry.
Right. Weird way to end it, but well. So if the Eagles only say they bat 500 and they miss the playoffs, or even if they get in and they get absolutely torn up in the first round again, do you think that at this point you might as well just hit a retool and just change it all up?
No, I think they fire the coach and maybe consider drafting another quarterback.
Are we talking about the Eagles? Sorry, I was half listening.
Yeah.
That would be. No. I mean, I enjoy every second of it, seeing that happen, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they'll straighten themselves out. I think you better watch it because Washington is actually for real this year.
I am getting to be. I'm willing to give Sirianni a few weeks after the bye week here to try and regroup and get this team going again. I think Kellen Moore's done some nice things on the offense. I don't necessarily blame Jalen for everything. He's definitely made some bad decisions, and he's holding onto the ball way too long. He's got to work on getting that ball out quicker and having some better pocket presence.
He can't go to his left. That's okay. Everybody. Kansas City is the ones that expose that, and everybody's been doing that to him now. When he runs, they're making him run to his left, and he can't throw well running to his left. A lot of quarterbacks have that problem, but especially him. He's just, when he runs to his left, he is not even close to being accurate.
He needs to get the ball out quicker then.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the only option. If you can't run to your left, get the ball out quicker. Create some plays where you have some guys maybe doing like a quick 3-yard slant, something quick, maybe check down real quick, throw a screen. They got to figure it out. He's holding on to the ball too long.
They should be throwing more screens to Barkley. The Giants just do that all the time. He's very good on screen passes.
Guys, before you guys continue on, Don, it just like what Jimmy said, facts, bro. Just facts. Yeah, they're speaking Mandarin right now. I got no clue what they're saying.
I mean, we'll see what happens. The next couple of weeks is going to tell what this team is really made of, and because the next 4, I'd say 4 out of the next 6 games are potentially winnable for the Eagles. They got to get healthy
Every
first.
game
They got to
should
get
be
everybody
winnable
back,
for
and
them.
then
Every game
we'll see
should
what
be
happens
winnable for them, though.
It's the NFL. I don't take any team lightly.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying that they're all for them. They're all winnable. They're not the Giants, okay? Where you absolutely know there's no chance that certain games are not going to be won. Okay.
You see, that's what I don't think like that, because then that's going to heighten my expectations. And when something doesn't happen the way I think it's going to go, I'm going to get pissed off. So if I lower my expectations a little bit and say should be winnable,
Okay.
then I'm good. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this team's going 21-0. No, that's unrealistic.
Oh, no, well, you know
Realistic is saying 4 out of the next 6 should be winnable. They could potentially go 4-2. They could go 3-3.
Are they playing
Dallas, Cincinnati.
They playing Washington the next 6 weeks?
They play Washington. Yeah, they play Washington, Cincinnati, Dallas, the Giants, Cleveland, and one other team I'm blanking on. But not in that order. They got Cleveland's next up on the schedule, so they should be able to get back on track with that one.
Cleveland's
we'll see.
Team, though.
They got to find the consistency.
All right, so before we close this sucker out, one starred comment that I decided to hide here in the background from Mike earlier in the show. Here's the question. What's the dumbest trade the Flyers ever made that backfired badly? I could think of a few, but I'll be honest with you. One of those trades for me was trading away Bobrovsky and getting Steve Mason in return. I get why
that was a brutal one. Yeah,
that was a mistake. Listen, I didn't hate Mace. I really didn't. I actually like the guy, but at the end of the day, it's like he's not Bob. He's not Bob, and we all knew it. And it's like, this was a mistake. I know he won the Calder, but this was a mistake.
Also trading Rick Tocchet to the Penguins.
Yeah, but the Flyers sucked at that point, so it's kind of like, well, it couldn't get any worse at that point. Though. I know. I know. That's how desperate the organization was at that point. They were totally fine with trading Rick Tocchet away to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
They were totally fine with it.
The funny thing is a lot of teams, like, if fans are like, "Oh, this guy doesn't trade with this guy doesn't trade." No, it doesn't matter. You make the best deal you can make. Doesn't matter who the team is.
Oh, that's absolutely true. I agree with you.
But as far as the dumbest trade that's backfired, Nolan Patrick, that whole deal, getting Ryan Ellis back, I thought that not a dumb trade, but that's probably the worst trade of recent history that has backfired not on just the Flyers, but every team involved in that 3-way trade.
No one won that deal.
Nobody won that trade.
Nope.
Nope.
Everybody lost that one.
The fun fact, too, on that one, Phil Myers was the other one that was in on that deal, and he wound up, I think, playing 2 games for Nashville. That was it. So, yeah, bad trade. Bad trade. But anyway, yeah, but there's a few. Anyway, so with that,
the guy who was the backup goalie for Florida last year was pretty good.
Stolars?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
he's been a very serviceable backup goalie, that's for sure.
He has been. I mean,
he's not a starter, but he's one of those guys, he can come in and play like maybe 3 out of 10 games and be very, very effective.
Benny's Nation brought up a good one, Patrick Sharp. That's a rough trade that the Flyers made. They should have kept him. They should have kept Justin Williams too, but they didn't do that either. There was a number of guys that they had. They had Dennis Seidenberg. They didn't keep him either. There's a lot of guys Flyers had in the early 2000s that they drafted, and they got young. They traded them away. That's what happens when you hot shot. But anyway, So with that, guys, hope everybody had a fun time here. I know we did. We love you guys out there. If you were a first-time commenter like Jimmy, if you were a regular, thank you guys so very much. As I said before, I'll say it again, the lifeblood of A2D. So keep us alive. And we were, yes, Bri.
Real quick. Want to do the poll results off of YouTube?
Oh, yes. Go right
Do
ahead.
the poll results. So we've been posting the poll for the last few weeks. We've been getting some good responses from it. So I'm going to start reading off the poll results at the end of every show. Tonight, obviously, the poll question was, despite the front office, Flyers will be battling for a playoff spot come the spring. So we had about 16 people vote in, which is great. We want to keep it going, keep it growing every week. 81% agreed. 19% disagree with it. So we appreciate everybody that voted and everybody that commented in with the poll question today. So we love you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you very, very much, guys. All right. So that will do it for this edition of Flyers Talk A2D. And next week, let me just pull out my calendar here.
Should be opening night.
You are correct. It is opening night next week. My God, man, I am now super excited for next week. Not only is it opening night, we'll also have Robbie back. So we'll have everybody here for opening night next week. So get excited, get pumped. Hockey is about to start, folks. Next week, opening night here. Flyers Talk A2D. It's going to be fun. Flyers may not be playing, but that's okay. It's still going to be fun. Anyway.
They count next week.
Right. They all count next week. Every single one.
By the way, gotta love the Rangers and Devils tonight. 3 fights.
Nice. It's good to know that they haven't forgotten what that rivalry is all about.
Still, you gotta love that. It's like when when the Rangers play the Flyers, and when they used to play the Flyers in preseason, there was always a lot of fights. That's why I think they stopped playing each other, because it was getting out of hand. They're gonna probably have to stop the Rangers and Devils soon.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, the Dr. Paul Vidal. We will see you guys for opening night next week. Until then, you stay safe. You stay healthy out there. From all of us here, peace and love, everyone. Take it easy.